Thank you, Cappy, for joining me today on Poppy and Vines Meet the Maker. It's great to have you. I'm so excited to learn more about Cappy Shakes and how you got started. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you and you can tell us more.
Thanks for having me, Lindsay. We'll talk about Cappy Shakes. So we got a canned cocktail. We have 4 different SKUs, 4 different flavors, if you will. We have the Fool's Paradise, Sidewinder's Fang, our gin and tonic. See that there? And then, of course, the cucumber cooler. It's basically, we've been working on these canned cocktails for actually a long time and kind of taking the inspiration that we've done in bars, mainly with cocktails on tap. Doing cocktails on tap since 2011. So you're basically using all the knowledge we have from there, then kind of just transitioning that to go packaging. You know, with the pandemic started, we really shifted in high gear, and we kind of been working on it in the background as well, but it really kind of shifted our focus there. Mainly because we were already doing this to-go packaging. We're trying to figure out better to-go packaging. It just naturally transitioned itself into its own business. You probably would have tangentially, but because of how TTB and ABC licenses have to be, it has to be a whole complete separate business.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, no, and so that actually brings up a good point. So, I mean, the RTD ready to drink market was definitely, you know, there, but it felt like the pandemic really kind of gave it a catalyst. Right. And as you even mentioned, you guys were already working on this project in the background. But then there was like this real need for it. I mean, I know the popularity of your beverages by being a consumer myself and just the local love for your craft. So I'm sure it was just like an easy transition. Did you see that demand as well?
We saw the demand, definitely. I think it was more also like a kind of I think everyone was trying to figure things out at the very beginning, and they're trying to stay alive. And people were also asking for, do they want our drinks still? And they want to support, and we want to have a cool packaging. So I think it naturally transitioned itself. I think a lot of people have the same ideas. You're seeing a lot more RTDs come out. Once again, we kind of been working on this just because of all of our knowledge with the tap cocktails, because that just naturally, I mean, it's basically one big giant, you know.
Yeah, a big can of cocktail.
So, but it definitely, you know, it was definitely a lot of learning stuff, even then too. Even knowing all we did, there's still just a lot of differences. Increasing your shelf life, still keeping your flavors quality,
right.
Sourcing all your product. It's a lot. There is a lot of change there. But we're super happy with how everything turned out, and we're super excited to be out there in the market. Obviously the RTD started, it wasn't, you know, they had like old club cocktails that are really terrible booze.
Yeah, so bad. There's been a really a large shift in actually creating a flavorful, well-balanced canned cocktail. The early ones are a little rough.
Yeah. I think Cutwater kind of paved the way for a lot of people just because they were able to use their own distilled spirits, so they get the price point down enough. But I think they go a little more towards just like regular cocktails. We're really trying to be kind of like a craft cocktail in a can. I think you see that reflected in both our design, our cocktail ingredients, as well as our alcohol. Volume. It is closer to a cocktail. It's not like 4 or 5% like a lot of seltzers are, like lower alcohol cocktails. We really want it to be like a full flavor and full proof cocktail that you would get at a bar.
So how did you kind of land on your four product lines right now, your 4 cocktails?
We've worked on a bunch of different things, and these are kind of like our favorite. We still have other things we're probably going to launch in the future. We want to launch with 4 just because it's nice, even 4-pack. You grab one of each of the varieties. The Fool's Paradise has always been one of our #1 sellers. So tequila, Blanc Vermouth, passion fruit, eucalyptus. So we knew we wanted to do that. We wanted to bring that. The cucumber cooler, we really want to do something with yuzu and cucumber. Awesome vodka we're using there too. The gin and tonic is actually from Alley 6 Distilleries gin.
Nice.
So we love Jason up there, and
Jason's great.
Quality gin that we really wanted to balance around a tonic. So we built that around, and of course, Sidewinder's Fangs, probably one of my favorites, just because the history in the Bay Area and just an awesome tea cocktail. Sidewinder's Fang was originally a tea cocktail coming out of Lanai in San Mateo.
Oh, okay. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, so I've done versions of the Sidewinder's Fangs over the years, and it usually calls for a bunch of soda water.
Hmm.
So this one was fun. I done it on tap before, where you basically carbonate the whole thing instead of having so much soda water. So it's not so diluted, and so the flavor is still present. Yeah. So
Very cool.
before we
Very
launch,
cool.
we've got others we're launching with later, probably into the summer. But for now, these four, we're super happy and proud of them.
Awesome. And so where can everyone find Cappy Shakes right now?
So we're rapidly expanding right now. For Sonoma County, Bottle Barn should be at Willoughby's. We're at Big John's in Healdsburg. Here's obviously the bar at Duke's. You can go to www.cappyshakes.com, and then there's a list of all of where we're carried as well.
Great. That's awesome. And then obviously you're on social media, so people can find you on Instagram as well.
Yes, Instagram at Cappy Shakes, and then Facebook as well, Cappy Shakes. Yeah.
So, I mean, you mentioned that you've been in the bar industry, and so how long have you been in the industry, and how did you get into the industry?
Yeah, so I was actually one of those kids. I actually met someone from my high school recently. She's like, "You knew what you were gonna do since we were 17." I was like, "Yep." I've always known I wanted to do hospitality. That's just kind of like since I was in high school. I knew I was cooking, and it wasn't really beverage focused then. Not until I turned 21 really did I get beverage focused. But I kind of came up in the hospitality and food industry in Sonoma County. Started with Mary's Pizza Shack originally as a delivery driver and server. I worked at Equus. I worked for the Starks for about almost 5 years. So Willie's Wine Bar, Willie's Seafood, Barcode, which is the bar they had, and Stark Steakhouse. I went up Stark Steakhouse there, and then came to Spoon Bar in Healdsburg. And then I went down to LA and opened up 2 spots down there, and then kind of came back to open up Duke's.
Nice.
So since I was 17, so 18 years now.
Yeah, you've been in the industry a long time.
Yeah, almost getting close to 20 years. And then
yeah, it's I think it's one of those things I do think at a really young age. A lot of times, like I knew I really wanted to be in culinary arts when I was young. And I originally went to school for that, and then decided I didn't want to be in the kitchen, full time. So I pivoted just to hospitality in general. I mean, my first job was with like Cafe de Croissant at 15, slinging croissants and coffee. So I get it. It kind of, once it bites you, it's really hard to leave it.
Yeah, exactly. And I go the same way, where I even did some culinary arts at the JC and started doing that. And I realized I really was focused on the front of house. I used to do back of house at Willie's Seafood as well. I just really love the hospitality about it. I think that's really what I'm passionate about. Serving guests and just giving hospitality. It's really, as I get older, and there's still that genuineness of me that I just really want to give that. So
yeah, no, I understand that. But I mean, obviously this transition into kind of more of a consumer packaged good, ready to drink cocktails, that kind of is pulling you out of that front of house. So is that a challenge for you?
Definitely. I definitely miss it. I'm actually probably going to be maybe trying to steal a shift or 2 coming up soon, just because I do miss it.
Yeah.
I still get to, go out and talk to people and see people, but it is a little different than hosting somebody.
Right.
It's definitely a miss for sure. But it's been kind of a welcome change. I have a little bit more family time schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely miss it. But once again, it's also, I kind of can't express my hospitality through making these products. I think that's part of hospitality, is being very thoughtful and careful and making a high quality product that people can enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. I think that hospitality can carry through in a variety of different elements for people to be able to experience it.
Yeah.
So if you could give some words of wisdom or advice to anyone interested in getting into the food and beverage business, into the bar business, into the canned cocktail world, what advice would you give them?
Oh, so different advice for each different thing. So canned cocktail, it's difficult. I would say don't.
Okay.
It's extremely competitive.
Mhm.
There's a bunch of people right now that are jumping onto the market. So it's competition across the board. You have giant corporations coming to board. You have people like Anheuser-Busch or InBev and
Right.
sponsoring all they own Cutwater and have the largest distribution in the United States. And you're never going to be so. It is very difficult because of how crowded a market is. For canned cocktails, I would partner with a local distillery. If I were, if I could give someone else advice, that's how I would do otherwise your budget just insane.
Right.
For hospitality and food, I would really just say you've got to love it. You've got to love hospitality. You've got to love hosting people. And it's got to be kind of in you. Like whenever we're looking for training people, and it's like a lot less the fact that they have the technical skills, but more about their emotional skills and
Right.
more,
That makes sense.
do they enjoy and do they kind of need to do that? So I think I recognize that at a young age, like I loved hosting and I loved that hospitality aspect. And if you don't love that, then it doesn't matter how much you love booze or food. It's not really about those things, loving those things, it's about loving sharing those things with other people.
Hmm.
So that's my advice.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
I really like that. I think that, yeah, very true. Resonates very strongly for sure. Well, okay. Once again, tell us where we can find you and how we can support you before we wrap up.
Yeah, so obviously Sonoma County Bottle Barn is probably our number one. We're always hanging out there with Jason, who's been a supporter since day one. We're rapidly expanding our distribution. We're now with Southern Wine and Spirits.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So you'll hopefully be seeing us all over the state in the next coming months. Then we're going to be picked. We have a couple places in Napa we're showing up, and then everything will be on the website at cappyshakes.com, and you'll be able to get us from there as well.
Awesome. Well,
Awesome.
thank you so much, Cappy, for your time today. I really appreciate it. And it was great learning a little bit more about your journey to the canned cocktail industry with Cappy Shakes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lindsay. For
Awesome. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.